Welcome back to Journey to I Do with Magic. I would like to first thank everyone who viewed the first introduction video. Thank you for your feedback, thank you for your likes, and thank you for subscribing. Continue telling a friend. Let it be something that everyone is talking about, because we are surely going on a journey of greatness. And you don't want to leave a friend behind. You don't want to leave a sister behind. You do not want to leave your mom behind. This is for anyone and everyone who wants to hear a real life story and go on a journey which is real, relatable, and also something that can add value to your life. Not everything has to be learned from experience. Sometimes it takes a listening ear to be able to know how to do and how not to do something. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to start on the hardcore things about my life. I mean, the question that I'm always being asked, why are you single? And I think that is the best way to start this journey. Why am I single? And my question is simple. Why not be single? I mean, I'm not saying I've been single my whole life. I have dated. God knows I have. And there's so much that I have learned, and there's so much that I know I'm still need to learn in order to get to a point where I am confident and fully aware of the fact that I can actually be in a relationship. Because there comes a time in one's life where you cannot just do things the way you've always done them. You cannot just keep repeating the same ways and the same methods knowing that they do not work. Now, how I'm going to start this, and please bear with me in terms of how far back I go with the story, but you need to understand why I am where I am, and the only way to do that is from me giving you a background as to my dating life and why I am now happily single. Now, this is a question that most people struggle to answer, and I've heard it all from I just haven't met the right person, I am single by choice, and the list continues. I feel like it's the most question with the most unknown and most interesting answers, in effect, that by the time a person is done answering, you're still left like, what did you just say? I'm gonna be real with you. Why am I single? There are so many answers to it, and some of the common answers are also valid in my life. However, I think it's only until last year where I can honestly, genuinely say I am single by choice. So for me, I used to date like everyone else. Just, I meet a guy, I like you, you like me. We get to know each other. We're dating, we're in a relationship. No long questions or what are your intentions? Where do you see this going? I mean, I've always been very obsessed with marriage, so most likely I did ask, where is this going? But you get to a point where you learn that guys don't want to be asked where is this going so early in the relationship. So I stopped asking as well. It was more of, hey, I like you, you like me too, so let's just date. I'm old now, I'm older, and I think I'm wiser. So there are certain things that I'm now purposefully trying to establish. What is my purpose? Because at this point, what every girl wants at my age is to be in a committed relationship, one that leads to marriage and one that leads to a family, because that is what our parents are asking us, that is what our friends are asking us, that is what our even colleagues are asking us. When are you getting married? Are you actually married? Do you have kids? So society expects us to be at a point where we're married or we are in a relationship leading to that, and that is a valid expectation, and it is one where, irrespective of your faith, irrespective of how sure you are within who you are, if you're not there yet, all of us panic. We panic, we get anxious, and this is relatable across the board. Girls and boys alike all get to a point of panic where you just ask yourself, is this actually going to happen? And I'm talking about people who are intentional about building a family. Not to say everyone will get into a panic, because some people are enjoying their singleness and they don't even see themselves getting committed. Not to say that they're actually single, they're just dating but without a reason for dating. So it brings me back. Let me come back to, why am I single? I am now purposefully trying to get to a point where I understand what my life's purpose is, because I had to first now go and ask myself this idea of marriage that I've always loved. Anyone who knows me knows this. Is it really a thing that I love and want personally, or is it something that was instilled in me at a young age and I've just been running with it? Because sometimes you need to pause and ask yourself these important questions. Am I doing what I really want to do, or am I doing what I've always thought I wanted to do, and now I'm stuck in that image and I want to live it out? And at no point did I actually reassess if this is really what I wanted. And reassessing marriage for me, like I said, my point of view is the word of God. What is marriage? Marriage is purposefully destined by God to bring forth a structure, a community, and a family, and a uniqueness and a unity that cannot be established in any other form. It cannot be established in a person having siblings. It cannot be established in a person relating with parents. It is a specific, very close union that needs to take place between two people, and from there family and communities are built. And God's perfect idea of marriage is for him to establish his kingdom, because everything starts with a family. My idea of family and love and how I was raised plays a big role in who I am, and it can also taint the direction I take with my life. Most people are what they are based on what they saw growing up. Some people grow up wanting to be a nurse because mommy was a nurse. Some people grow up violent because they saw violence around them as they were growing up. It's things that we don't necessarily choose, but somehow chose us. And then within that choosing, we still need to go back and reassess and rework, and sometimes even heal some of those chosen and imposed things on us to be able to get to a point where we know that we are living out what we really want to be doing. So this simply brings me to the answer of, yes, marriage is something that I want, and it's something that I know a lot of people want. However, we need to get to the core of the truth of the matter, which is that marriage is not easy, and marriage is not something you just walk into. It always amazes me how we somehow want to limit marriage to just, I met someone and I loved them and yeah, we're getting married. Whereas every other thing that is significant in our lives takes time. It takes an actual effort, and it takes one working on achieving it. Let me be practical. My degree. It took me 8 years. It was meant to take me 7, but it took me 8 years. Well, that is for me to actually qualify as a chartered accountant. But my degree and honors was a whole 5 years, right? Yes, 5 years. And then 3 years of articles, making it 8 years. And that is just post high school for me to be someone who is called a professional. Now that's something that is just work related. It has nothing to do with an actual person's life. Yes, some people are working out and living out their purpose in the terms of their career that they chose, but most of us are just at work for work. So that is just something that is part of who you are. Marriage, on the other hand, involves you uniting not only with yourself to another person, it's uniting two families and then coming and bringing forth a child who will bring both families together and will inherit bloodlines and a history that they also will not even know anything about. So is it unrealistic for me to expect that I need to put a bit more work before I get to marriage? I know that it's something that maybe I didn't always feel like it until I got to the stage that I'm at now, where I'm like, but listen, if I want the kind of marriage that I know that God destined and ordained, not this new, we get married and 2 months later we're divorced, not this, we get married and 2 years later we're divorced, not this, we're married but we just co-inhabit but we're not really friends, or we don't really talk, it's just we live together and he's the father of my kids situation. I'm talking about a real, true relationship where you relate, you respect each other, and you are living out your individual purposes and also living out your union's purpose, because marriage in itself has its own purpose, but the individuals need to first know what their purposes are before they unite. You need to first identify, can this person fit into the purpose that God has for me? Meaning both parties must first understand what their respective purposes are. And that is why for now I have chosen to be single, and I have been going on a journey of working on myself, reteaching myself the things that I had taught myself, rethinking and reteaching myself that it's not just about chemistry, it's not just about he looks good, it's not just about he is educated or he drives a certain car. Not that I've ever been on those things, but it's more. It has to be about more. It has to be a bit more, because it doesn't only affect me, but it will affect my children. Children that are not yet born yet will be born into things that I have the rights and the ability to choose. And I'd rather choose wisely. I'd rather we choose wisely. I'd rather we know who we are, what we want, what we don't want, what our personalities can accept and cannot accept, what my upbringing taught me marriage is. Because if I don't understand those things and I meet someone else and we don't have those discussions and we don't pray for those differences, because there will be differences. As much as I will know that maybe I need a man who, okay, Okuti is a person who is not patient. Most times, I'm very impatient, and I'm learning to be patient. And if anything, I'm being humbled in a lot of ways to ensure that the patience comes and kicks in, and it's painful. It's very painful, but it has to be done. And even when it's being done, because I'm aware of the intentionality of this stage that I'm in, I'm allowing it to happen, and I'm allowing the patience to grow in me. Meaning I now need to know that I need a man who's a bit more patient. Because if we're both impatient, it's not gonna work. If we both jump and over panic when something happens, everyone calls me dramatic. I don't need a man who's dramatic, because I'm a bit more dramatic. So imagine a household with two dramatic people and everything is just blown out of proportion. It won't work. But those things come after you first sit with yourself. Being single is not a time where all the time you're out and about with your friends, talking about the same things, doing the same things. It sometimes needs you to be in a quiet place by yourself. Reassess yourself, see yourself, hear yourself think, talk to yourself, identify certain things about yourself, like, wow, I didn't actually realize that I am actually very humble, or I'm actually very loud, or I actually talk a lot. Like, shame. I feel sorry for all the people who have to listen to me on a daily. For me, it's normal, but to someone else, it's not that normal. And it takes you to sometimes be in a place where you are not talking, but you're hearing yourself. And also sometimes just getting feedback from people as to what they see you as. Because sometimes I can think I'm such an amazing person. I've got this and this and this on lockdown. Whereas the person on the other hand is saying something completely different. And it's a learning. As much as you go to class and you are taught, and then you are tested on what you are taught, there is so much that in the single period you learn. Like right now, I'm saying a lot of things that maybe as I'm speaking, you will be thinking of your own self and having things come in your mind about the things that you were probably not aware of. Or you will just have a light bulb go on, like, oh yeah, I'm also this and that. That is you now becoming aware. But being aware doesn't necessarily end there. There comes a testing. When you go into a period where you're like, I'm single, and Lord, work on my singleness and allow this period to not just be me being single, but prepare me for the marriage that you want me to go into. And when you're in that mindset, when things come into your awareness, it doesn't end there. You now go and say, Lord, what do I now do with this? How do I relearn? How do I heal from the fact that I grew up without a dad? And that scarred me to some extent, that I don't trust men as much as the other next female next to me. The fact that I question and overanalyze every single thing, because for as long as I've known, because my dad walked out on me, what would make any other man not walk out on me? And I probably came across as insecure, but for me it was, I'm questioning if you're really here to stay. And that kind of mentality and that kind of behavior actually pushes the other person away, because no one likes to be questioned, especially if the intentions are pure and the intentions are good, and you're constantly always making them feel like they're not doing enough, or they're constantly doing something wrong. And no one wants to date someone who never has anything good to say. Like, it's like I keep doing, but this person doesn't see it. And I think that is one thing that I have learned, that I was that girlfriend who made every guy question if I should even be in this relationship, because this girl just makes it seem like I'm not doing anything. Thank you so much for watching this video. We were talking about relationships today, why it is important for you to be single, what the purpose of marriage is, and what are some of the things in your growing up and your upbringing that could affect your dating life, which you now need to work on in order for you to become better, not only as an individual, but in your marriage life when you do get married. So singleness is not a bad thing. It's not a bad time in your life. If anything, it's the best time to be able to make sure that your marriage is more beautiful than your wedding day, that your marriage is successful, and that when you're married, you don't wish you were single. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that all of you will subscribe, like, and tell a friend.